I'm going to tell you a story. The gift giver will remain nameless because it's a little close to the family.
It's really happening this soon, right, Kylie?
Got an electric drum set, and it had one switch on it, on and off. It had no volume control, and I tried taping over the speaker. I tried putting it on a blanket when Wyatt wanted to play with it. I could not get it to not be just assaulting everyone's ears when she was playing with the toy. Cut to the following Christmas. That same person brought us another drum set. I have so much guilt associated with this because as the new drum set was being opened, all I could think about was the fact that the old drum set was still retired in the cabinet.
Not only Kylie Kelce, but countless mothers everywhere know this particular kind of sweet torment, the endless, booming soundtrack of childhood, where little hands transform ordinary objects into instruments of chaos. It's noisy, it's relentless, and yet, it's the kind of racket that years later becomes a memory you wouldn't trade for the world. And if you were to trace the newest and loudest symphony echoing from the Kelce household, you wouldn't need directions, just follow the beat. It starts as a faint tap, almost like a secret knock from some tiny creature asking permission to play. Then it swells into a gleeful clatter, drumsticks marching across practice pads, cymbals, and then, well, anything within reach. A cookie tin lid, a wooden salad bowl, the arm of the sofa, the source of all this joyful chaos. 5-year-old Wyatt, bright-eyed, full of curiosity, and utterly devoted to the drums the way some kids fall in love with crayons, instantly, passionately, and with a beautiful mess. The drums themselves were miracles wrapped in ribbon. One Christmas morning, a glossy box appeared under the tree, far too large for such tiny hands. Inside, a child-sized kit, complete with snare, cymbals, and sticks that instantly gave Wyatt the swagger of a rock star. Then came her birthday. Another gift, this one even grander. A proper set with a kick drum that could make the very floors of the house tremble. Both came with handwritten notes, affectionate scrawls from an aunt who knows the magic hidden inside. A good riff, Taylor Swift beloved, now family, and forever a musical heroine in the Kelce home, wasn't just giving a gift. She was passing down a piece of her world, teaching Wyatt that music isn't just for stadiums or superstars, it's something you belong to. Kylie laughs when she recalls that first day. Wyatt tore into the box like she was unwrapping the moon itself. The sparkle in her eyes, the reverent way she held those sticks. The pure delight at the discovery, memories that make everyone grin when they retell it, but like every new friendship, this one came with complications. Wyatt's new companion didn't exactly come with a volume control, and the sleeping siblings were less than impressed. Still, the drums became more than noise. They were joy concentrated, tiny lessons in rhythm and persistence. With her head tilted in deep focus, Wyatt would listen, absorb, and then strike, determined to make the beat her own. The Kelce house soon became a concert hall of tiny triumphs. A steady 4-beat here, a rim shot there. Wyatt would cheer for herself after every small victory. What began as practice quickly transformed into the background soundtrack of daily life. The girls discovered that drumming wasn't just music, was power. Loud enough to send poor Nessie the dog scrambling, sharp enough that cymbal crashes bounced like lightning around the living room walls. But drumming was never a solo act for long. Sisterhood amplified the noise. 4-year-old Ellie, already born with dance in her veins, twirled like a ballerina to Wyatt's steady rhythm. 2-year-old Bennett joined in, crouched by the bass drum with the fierce focus of a tiny scientist, stomping the pedal as if she'd discovered a secret machine. Together, the three of them became a pint-sized percussion trio, flailing limbs, explosive grins, and the kind of uninhibited joy that makes modern art look tame. At first, Kylie's delight matched everyone else's, but reality eventually caught up. These jam sessions weren't 5 minutes of cuteness anymore, they stretched into hours of relentless rhythm. Coffee tables rattled. The walls hummed like an indoor parade had been unleashed. Adorable, absolutely, but also loud, very loud. The breaking point came when one of Wyatt's thunderous solos drowned out a weekend recording session, freezing Kylie's laptop mid. Still, Kylie didn't silence the music. She didn't ban the drums out of frustration. She redirected them with love. The rule was simple: no more living room concerts. The kits were moved to the garage, cushioned with soft padding, so the girls could practice without shaking the whole house. It wasn't punishment, it was a compromise. Music would stay, but so would peace. And through it all, Auntie Taylor was more than just the gift giver, she was the quiet guide. Instead of strict lessons, she offered permission. She'd send videos of herself practicing, gently reminding the girls to take breaks, even sharing her own imperfect first drafts of songs. Music, she showed them, wasn't something polished and unreachable, it was part of everyday life. Coffee cups on the piano, late nights humming, children counting beats on the floor. When she gifted the kits, Kylie said, they weren't just instruments. They were permission slips to be noisy, bold, to fail gloriously, and try again in front of people who loved them. Taylor leaned into that role. She'd show up with tiny, kid-sized ear protectors, laughing as she sang along while Wyatt pounded out her latest masterpiece. She'd kneel beside the girls, teaching practical things like, count for beats, tap with your wrist, not your arm. But she'd also whisper whimsical advice, play like you're marching to the moon. Somehow, she struck the perfect balance of discipline and wonder. Not just Taylor Swift, the superstar, but Auntie Taylor, the encourager, the one who turned the noise into music, and the chaos into magic. The girls soon invented rituals of their own. Breakfast wasn't just cereal and cartoons, it was drum warm-up hour, with Wyatt using wooden spoons and cereal bowls to test out new rhythms. Rainy afternoons turned into band practice, complete with puppets pressed into service as a distracted audience. And once, in a moment of pure family theater, the kids staged a full concert. Their stage was a row of cardboard boxes, their backdrop, a poster scribbled by an older cousin, and their audience. Stuffed animals in the front row, Uncle Trav sitting proudly as a VIP, and one amused neighbor who poked his head in to cheer, "Bravo," before slyly asking if they had ever rehearsed. But for every sweet performance, Wyatt's obsession came with a side of chaos. There was the time she discovered that the windowsill made the perfect drum surface until her clatter sent a string of fairy lights tumbling down like a sparkling waterfall, or the day her floor tom flourish accidentally matched the kitchen timer beat for beat, leaving Jason caught between confusion and laughter. Each mishap became a legendary family story, retold at gatherings with bigger smiles and more dramatic detail, and the girls, they repeated those tales with pride, as though their little blunders were badges of honor. Through it all, Taylor's presence shimmered like a steady guiding light. She never demanded recitals or perfection. What she gave instead was curiosity, confidence. She told the girls that music wasn't about flawless execution, but about expression. When Wyatt once fretted over a tricky rhythm, Auntie Taylor leaned close and said softly, almost reverently, "Music is like a secret language between you and the world. Say whatever you want." It was that simple wisdom, permission to speak through sound, that transformed every noisy drum session into something sacred. Kylie adapted with equal grace. She padded the drum room, bought noise-reducing mats, and set up concert hours, balancing the girls' joy with the family's sanity. It worked. The girls kept their music, and Kylie reclaimed her quiet moments. The home found its harmony again. Jason, ever the comic, sometimes joined in with his perfectly timed rim shots, diffusing tantrums before they could spark. Donna Kelce adored the thought of a musical legacy, watching her granddaughters pass songs between each other like heirlooms. And over time, the story of the little drum trio became less about noise and more about soundtracking life itself. Wyatt's beats marked scraped knees and bedtime giggles, the nervous flutter of first school days, and spontaneous kitchen dance parties. At night, when the girls finally collapsed into bed with flushed cheeks and tangled hair, Kylie often smiled. To herself, the band had never been a punishment, it was a map, a guide to carving out space for creativity without losing the rhythm of everyday life. Even the neighbors noticed. Sometimes at twilight, faint rhythms drifted from the garage, a soft patient, steady beats, a practice not for perfection, but for joy. And on the nights when Auntie Taylor dropped by, magic always followed. She'd pick up a pair of drumsticks, sit cross-legged beside Wyatt, and lean in like a student rather than a superstar. Together, they'd tap out a gentle, imperfect rhythm, clumsy, bright, and alive. And in that glowing mess of sound, everyone could hear it, the unmistakable beginning of something beautiful.